Morning, Philippines, mga kabarangay, mga kababayan, mga kapatid. Ngayon po ay araw ng Miyerkules, April 9, 2025. Araw po ng kagitingan. Uh, Historically, ito po yung araw na kung saan sinurrender ng mga sundalong Pilipino sa mga Hapon ang Bataan bilang last last line of defense. Kaya ito po yung sinasabing Fall of Bataan Day. Dito inaalala po natin ang kabayanihan ng ating mga sundalo noong World War II. Kaya sineselebrate po natin ang araw na ito, araw ng kagitingan. We hope na hindi na po maulit yung nangyari with this impending war with China. Kasi inuulit po natin, mga kabarangay, mga kababayan, mga kapatid, na sa ngayon po tayo ay nalalagay na naman sa pintuan ng digmaan ikatlong World War III, which is a war principally, or which would be the war principally between China and the US, with the Philippines once again to become a battlefield. Nakakalungkot po, pero mukha po talagang inevitable ito. Bakit? Sapagkat ang China ay talagang hindi yan titigil na hindi makuha ang Taiwan. At ang US naman ay hindi papayag na basta kunin ng China ang Taiwan. Bakit? Sapagkat mawawalan sila ng strong base dito sa Asia, sa Indo-Pacific area. Kailangan ng US yun to maintain being a world power. So, kapag sinalakay ang Taiwan, automatic kasama ang US. At pag nagkaroon naman ng digmaan ang US at ang China, automatic ang Pilipinas. Hindi makakaiwas. Bakit? Kasi tayo ang baseline ng US forces in Asia, together with Taiwan, Japan, and other countries in Indo-Pacific. So, yan po yung kumbaga geopolitics. Kaya nga ang sinasabi po natin, one thing that we have to do is to ensure that we will have a commander-in-chief who is in his right mind. Ito yung number one na worry natin. Kapag kabangag ang ating Pangulo as a commander-in-chief of the armed forces, ay talagang mapanganib lalo po. Kaya yan po ang number one concern. At ang sinasabi nga po natin sa ating mga military, number one, sila ang unang, this should be the first person to ensure that their commander-in-chief is in his right mind, hindi pangag ika na. At sinasabi po natin, yan ay tungkulin ni Gibok Teodoro in his capacity as National Defense Secretary. Si Bersamin Lucas being the Executive Secretary. Yung Secretary ng DILG as Chief Head ng PNP. So, number one concern nila yan. Kaya iyan po ang lagi nating panawagan. Well, pagkatapos po nating sabihin ng last vlog natin na mayroong grand conspiracy ang COMELEC with other agencies to ensure na mamanipulate nila ang election result ng 2025. May natagpuan po na mga election paraphernalia sa isang private house sa Davao City. Somewhere in Barangay Buhangin, ayon sa balita. At wala pong gwardiya yan. Madaling araw daw na ibinaba doon yung mga paraphernalia. At ang paliwanag ng COMELEC, kasalanan daw yun ng subcontractor. Sapagkat meron silang kinuwang subcontractor para mag-transport ng mga election paraphernalia. So, ibig sabihin, hindi nila alam yun na doon dinala. Well, whatever it is, responsibility pa rin yan ng COMELEC. Chairman George Garcia, responsibilidad mo yan. You cannot make a justification to the effect that it was a shortcoming of the subcontractor whom you engage transporting the said election paraphernalia. Pero with all honesty, we don't believe in that very shallow explanation. Na mas naniniwala tayo na kasama mo yan sa plano na dayain mismo ang eleksyon ng Davao City para masigurado mo na matalo si PRRD as mayoral candidate. Ang mananalo si Carlo Nograles. Bakit? Sapagkat upang ipakita sa Pilipinas at sa buong mundo that even in his own town, Davao City, PRRD is hated. As a matter of fact, hindi mismo siya nanalo sa kanyang syudad. Yun ang gusto mong ipakita. Tingnan mo si PRRD mismo sa syudad niya, hindi nanalo. Kaya hindi totoo na he is the most loved president of the Republic. Haka-haka lang yan ng mga DDS. But in reality, hindi totoo na mahal siya ng mga Pilipino. Katunayan, natalo siya mismo doon sa kanyang baluarte sa syudad niya, Davao City. Siya mismo ang kandidato for mayor, hindi siya nanalo. Yung kalaban niya ang nanalo. Para masigurado yan, yung ganyang palabas nyo, dadayain nyo talaga ang eleksyon. Kaya, George Garcia, hindi makakalusot yung kalokohan mo. Talagang ikaw ay tuta ng bangag na Pangulo para siguraduhin ang 12-0 result sa senatorial candidates in favor of the alyansa ng Bagong Pilipinas at kung saan kandidato ang mga Duterte, sila ay talo by way of manipulating the election result. Kaya ang mananalo ngayong 2025 election, because it is manipulated, ay yung mga kandidato ng alyansa from national down to the local level. Sasabihin mo, fake news itong sinasabi ko. This is an analysis of what is going on at kung ano ang plano ng administrasyong ito. Maliwanag po. Bakit magkakaroon ng mga eleksyon para pernalya dyan? Patago na dinala dyan. Bakit? Unang-una, yun talaga ang uunahin yung i-manipulate. With respect to local candidates, Davao City ang talagang sisiguraduhin nyo. Then, sa buong Mindanao, palalabasin nyo na lahat ng mga kandidato sa local level sympathetic to DDS ay matatalo. And that will be all throughout the Philippines anyway. Gagawin nyo yan, George Garcia. Ikaw kasi, George Garcia, mukha kang pera. Hindi na interest ng bansa ang nasa utak mo. Kung hindi gawin ang gusto ng bangag na Pangulo para patunayan mo sa kanya na ikaw ay asong-aso niya. Hindi ka lang basta tuta, aso pa talaga niya. So kung may dignidad ka, George Garcia, mag-resign ka na lang as chairman at di kumilig. Yun lang ang magagawa mo. Dahil wala nang tiwala sa iyo ang sambayan ng Pilipino. Yan po ang totoo. George Garcia, without you injecting reforms in the COMELEC management, katulad ng sinasabi ng PDP laban candidates at ni Atty. Respicio na dapat may manual counting at the present level. Gagamitin lang ang electronic counting pag-transmit ng boto from the present level to the canvassing centers and from canvassing centers to the COMELEC server. Dapat doon lang papasok ang electronic counting. Dapat at the present level mayroong manual counting. Manual counting dapat at every present level. Madali lang gawin yan. Kung tutusin, kung gugustuhin nyo. George Garcia, you still have so much time because it is still 1 month to go. So madali ng preparasyon yan at walang additional expense yan. Bakit? Kasi ang magbibilang naman yan yung Board of Inspectors at every present. Binabayaran na naman talaga sila. Sa manual counting, chalk at mga blackboard lang ang gagamitin dyan. O kaya Manila paper tally sheets. Yun lang ang gagamitin dyan. So, hindi naman magbabayad ang COMELEC ng mga watchers. Sagot yan ng mga political parties. Kaya, kung tutusin, walang additional expense on the part of the COMELEC. And one thing more, sabi nga ng mga petitioners, that is what the law provides. There should be a manual counting at the present level. Maiwasan pa ang dayaan, pati sa mga local candidates. Kasi bibilangin din sa manual counting yung mga boto ng local candidates from senatorials to down to the councilors level in every municipality or city all throughout the Philippines. So, mas magiging credible ang resulta ng eleksyon kung susundin yung batas na dapat magkaroon ng manual counting at the present level. Mga kabarangay, mga kababayan, mga kapatid, napapag-usapan po natin itong committee hearing na ginagawa ni Senator Jaime Marcos. Mas lalong nagiging maliwanag as a result of the hearing na talagang well-planned on the part of the government administration of PBBM na talagang ipagkanulo si PRRD sa International Criminal Court. Pinagplanuhan ng administrasyong ito ang pagpapahuli at pagpapakulong sa ICC kay PRRD. At yan ay sa kabila ng kasinungalingan ng kasalukuyang administrasyon sa pagsasabi na hindi sila makikipagtulungan sa ICC sapagkat wala ng jurisdiction ang ICC sa ating bansa. Yung paulit-ulit na sinasabi ng kanyang Undersecretary in the person of Claire Castro na nasa batas yan ng Pilipinang na dapat siya ipadala sa ICC, kalokohan po yan. Katarantaduhan yan, panluluko yan sa mga Pilipino. Anong nasa batas? Ang sinasabi ng batas, sabi nga, sa lahat ng batas, international law, Philippine Constitution, and even statutory laws, yung mga batas natin, bago ka i-deliver sa ibang bansa, may mga kondisyon na dapat i-comply. And that is very basic, is compliance with respect to the rights of the accused under the Constitution. One of which is determination by competent judicial authority of the local state. In the Philippines, that is the determination by the regional trial court that the arrest, that the delivery of the person arrested to International Criminal Court is in accordance with the local laws, whereby the accused is accorded with his right to due process in all respects. So laging mayroong determination on the part of the regional trial court that the accused was accorded with his right to due process under the local laws, which was deprived of PRRD, sapagkat kung atin pong titingnan, pagkahuli sa kanya sa airport, dinala agad siya sa Villamor Air Base at kinagabihan pilit na inilipad sa The Hague, Netherlands, at mula noon na-detain na siya doon. So in other words, what the Philippine government did was kidnapping and serious illegal detention. O sabihin na natin arbitrary detention. Kasi mga pulis ang humuli. Arbitrary detention, which is under all circumstances made all persons responsible criminally liable. So, Yan po ang totoo dyan. Pero ang issue dito sa Senate hearing, itong issue of what Chis Escudero called an impending constitutional crisis, kung pipirmahan niya lahat ng subpinas na nais na gusto ni Amy Marcos na ipadala sa mga concerned officials ng Executive Department. Ang sinasabi kasi ni Chis, since the Executive Department is invoking the executive privilege, so kung ipatatawag niya, so pipirmahan niya yung mga subpina para doon sa mga tao under the Executive Department na pinagbaybawalan ng palasyo para umaten. So there will be a constitutional crisis na as much as possible gustong iwasan ni Escudero. Well, Chis Escudero, dalawa lang yan. Una, nagpapatunay lang na ikaw ay nambobodol sa sambayan ng Pilipino. Pangalawa, nagpapatunay din na ikaw ay tuta ng bangag na Pangulo. Bakit natin nasabi yan na pambobodol yan? Kasi, assuming for the sake of argument that there would be an impending constitutional crisis between the Congress and the executive branch, should you sign the subpoenas, that will not be yours to decide. It will be for the Supreme Court to decide. Kasi kapag pinirmahan mo ang mga subpoena para ipatawag ng mga cabinet secretaries at sa tingin ng Executive Department, that is a violation of the Executive Privilege Doctrine, which is recognized under our jurisdiction, then they could go to the Supreme Court and question it and let the Supreme Court decide as the final arbiter of what is constitutional and unconstitutional. Ang mahalaga, pinirmahan mo to show na hindi ka tuta ng bangag na Pangulo. Kaya kalukuhan yung sinasabi mo. Bakit i-prejudge mo agad? Why should you have that prejudging to the effect that once you sign the subpoenas, there will be a constitutional crisis? The Supreme Court is all the time open for whatever issues submitted before it for decision. And that would be for the Executive Department to go to the Supreme Court if they want to. But you, as Senate President, must assert the independence of Congress, of the Senate particularly. And the only way to assert that independence is for you to sign the subpoena and let the Executive Department question it before the Supreme Court. That is the proper thing to do on your part, Escudero. Huwag mong lulukuhin ang sambayan ng Pilipino. The fact of the matter is that utak ka ng bangag na Pangulo. Sabagay, hindi ba minsan you acted as a waiter for Lisa Araneta Marcos? Ayun, nagpapatunay sa mga previous pronouncement mo na kapag inaatake ni Pipi Sara ang bangag na Pangulo, you always come to his succor by defending the bangag na Pangulo. You attack back Sara Duterte even if you are not the one being attacked. Paano nga kasi tutang-tuta ka, Jesus Escudero? So huwag mo kami babulahin dahil hindi kami ignorante, bobo, ayon sa inaakala mo. We know what is legally right. Kaya ayaw mong papuntahin ang mga resource speakers na iniimbitahan ng committee ni Amy Marcos kasi lalong nabibilad sa publiko yung kalukuhan ng administrasyong ito na talagang plinano nila ang pagpapahuli at pagpapasuko kay PRRD doon sa ICC. Yan talaga ang intensyon mo, pagtakpan ang katarantaduhan na ginawa ng bangag na Pangulo. So, maliwanag yan, Jesus Escudero. Huwag na marami kang kwento. Ngayon, mga kabarangay, mga kababayan, mga kapatid, naninibago yung sinasabi na sa issue na ang impeachment ni Pipi Sara ay has to be tackled after the SONA, meaning July. So mga September na yan, August, September, yan yung mga kasagsagan ng trial. But we believe that the unfinished, we are firm with our stand, with our opinion that the unfinished business of the 19th Congress ended with the expiration of the same. Meaning, kung ano yung unfinished business ng 19th Congress, it expires with its expiration. So itong impeachment ni Inday Sara is one of the unfinished business of the 19th Congress na ipasa sa lower house, pero pagdating sa upper chamber, the Senate, hindi ito na-actionan. So it dies in natural death with the expiration of the 19th Congress on June 30, 2025. Kasi pagdating ng June 30 at noon, uupo na yung 20th Congress. So meaning, kung gustong ituloy ang impeachment kay Pipi Sara, it has to start all over again at the lower house. Kailangan magkaroon ng panibagong impeachment complaint to be filed against Pipi Sara at the lower house. It being there, where it has to be initiated according to the Constitution. So dapat magsimula ulit ang isang impeachment complaint at the lower house with the 20th Congress. But the thing is, under the Constitution, there can only be one impeachment complaint to be filed within 1 year against the same impeachable public officer. So meaning, if ever an impeachment complaint can only be filed against BP Sara Duterte after July next year, because 1 year there can be no impeachment complaint to be filed, or rather I would say maybe by December, kasi itong last impeachment complaint was filed I think last December. So it could be December 2026. Ang last year niya, ang within a year. So hanggang December 2026, pwede mag-file ng after December 2026. So in other words, it will be starting January 2027 na. Magkakaroon ng panibagong impeachment complaint filing. Then 2028 election, presidential election. So ganun po ang mangyayari. Anyway, meron namang mga pending petition sa Supreme Court relative to it. Malalaman natin kung ano magiging decision ng Supreme Court. Because as far as we know, meron ding pending petition si VP Sara na ideklarang unconstitutional itong impeachment complaint in violation of the 1-year ban. Another thing, meron ding standing petition for the Supreme Court to order the impeachment trial. So tingnan natin kung ano ang magiging final decision ng Supreme Court on the matter. But insofar as we believe in, yan po yung pananaw natin na kung sakali maumpisahan lang ang panibagong impeachment, maybe January 2027 na. Dahil nga sa sinasabi natin that the unfinished business of 19th Congress expires with its expiration on June 30, 2025. Muli ang ating panawagan sa mga military at sa mga pulis na magkaroon sila ng discernment relative to what the Commander-in-Chief is doing, particularly also with respect to his health. Marami ding lumalabas na mga balibalita na ito nga ay at pinapaniwalaan natin ito, nagbangag talaga itong Pangulo na to. Una, number two, aside from being bangag, very sickly na raw ito. So tingnan po natin. Ang problema kasi at the moment, we cannot believe in or whatever the palace is saying. Kasi alam natin this government is a government of lies. wala na po tayong pwedeng paniwalaan sa mga sinasabi ng palasyo through Yusek Claire Castro. Kasi itong babaeng ito, talagang manufacturer din to ng fake news. Sasabihin nila, fake news ito mga sinasabi natin. Well, we say this as a matter of reactions for what they are saying. So, pansamantala, mga kabarangay, mga kababayan, mga kapatid, wakasan natin ang ating talakayan ngayong umaga. Maraming pong salamat.